Before po siya pumunta ng Congress, magpa-drug test muna siya. Before mo hanapin si Pastor Tamunin na lumantad at lumabas at sumurrender si Pastor ng mga ministro ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ, magpa-drug test ka muna. Hair follicle, DNA type, scientific drug test open to the public. Sasama po kami. I will also volunteer, si Ka Eric. And if you will be proven na kayo po ay hindi lulong sa illegal drug substance abuse, then part of your integrity will be restored. Might be restored. Might be restored. Wala namang mawawala sa kanya eh. Di ba? Why are you not going to do it? Why? Yun. So, klaro kayo mga kababayan, hindi ko na po patatagalin. Hindi niya kaya. A man of character is a man for all season. Ang taong may tatag ng tamang pag-uugali at tamang attitude at tamang paninindigan na hindi siya insecure sa uri ng kanyang mga values, ay hindi ka takot na humarap sa anumang pag-challenge sa integrity mo. Nang tinanong nila si Digong openly in debates before he was elected in 2022, Mr. President, marami ka daw girlfriend, babaidor ka daw, etc. Nagmumura ka daw, at pumapatay ka daw sa Davao. Wala siyang patumpik-tumpik na nag-OA. Ay, hiwalay man ako sa asawa. Ano man ang gagawin ko sa buhay? Di siya maghanap ng pagmamahal. Direkta. Hindi niya itinanggi. So, it's up for the people to accept that or not. But he did not pretend to be a moralizing person. At sabi niya, oo, ang mga lumalaban sa law enforcement at pumapatay ng re-rape at nagbebenta ng droga, ay mamamatay talaga yan sa law enforcement kapag lumaban. Sinagot niya rin. Diba? Pero wala silang iba to na corruption, wala eh. Babae, saka pumapatay doon ng mga adik at mga kriminal. Mr. Marcos, ngayon ikaw ang tinatanong ng taong bayan. Are you into illegal drug substance abuse or not? For you to prove that and for you to have the moral ascendancy to continue discharging the functions of the office of the President, and for you to be able to launch correct good governance, to launch a real war against hunger, misery, poverty, unemployment, and misgovernance and corruption, you have to have a stable state of mind, Mr. President. Tama, hindi? Palakpakan natin ang panawagan ng mamamayan for a true, with integrity, scientific drug test of the President before you take the podium at the lower house, at the House of Congress on July 22.
Step down.
Or, yun ang sagot, step down. Because resignation is an option. So are we here to overthrow the government in the Philippines? No. Why are we here? We want to reform governance. We are here not to overthrow the government or to advocate armed struggle or terrorism or violence. We are here to assert our sovereign right as Filipino people that we deserve to have good government. Righteous government. Matino, matuwid, matapat, maayos na pamamahala. We are not demanding from Mr. Marcos na mag-create ng mga mansyon for every Filipino people. No. We are demanding from him kasi pinili mo maging pangulo ng bansa. Di gawin mo ang tama. At ano ang tama? Good governance. Labanan mong gutom, korupsyon sa gobyerno, abuso sa poder, at mga itigil mong digma-digma ang kabaliwan na solsol sa iyo ng American government sa China. Palaganapin mo ang modernong agrikultura, pagkain, trabaho. Yan po ang tamang pamumuno. Yan po ay hindi kalabisan. The government must always be the arbiter for the people, not a facilitator for abuse and exploitation of people who are in power. Ang nangyayari ngayon, ang mga mas makapangyarihan yung nabubundat sa kanya. Hindi ang ordinaryong mamamayan. We are here because tomorrow, sa mga nanonood, sa live ng iba't ibang mga nandirito, nananawagan po kami sa inyong lahat. Please, join us tomorrow, 6 o'clock or 5:30 in the afternoon, evening, 6 o'clock, New York time, dito po sa harap ng International Office ng United Nations. At dahil bingi, bulag ang Marcos Jr. at hindi niya binibigyang pansin at damdamin ang malulubhang paglabag sa karapatang pantao at mga pandaigdigang batas sa garantiya ng international humanitarian law sa pananampalataya, pamamahayag at sa mga mamamayang gustong wag nang ibalik pa ang diktadura at authoritarianismo sa ating bansa. We have no other recourse but to bring him into accountability, symbolically at least, in the office of the United Nations International Office in New York. Kaya tayo pupunta doon bukas. Palakpakan natin yun. But we will have a formal filing of complaints to be led by Attorney Arnedo Valera. Siya po ang legal counsel and coordinator din ng Hakbang Maisog USA. At the same time, siya po ang isa sa mga founding leaders ng United Pinoys for Real Change in the Philippines. So pupunta po siya, volunteer. We hope he can join us tomorrow, but he will be having some schedule in court sa Washington, D.C. So I hope na makakahabol pa siya. Pag hindi, tayo po lahat ay pupunta doon, mga kababayan. So hindi ko na po patatagalin ito sapagkat magsasalita po mamaya-maya after few minutes na saraduhan ko pong discussion ko, si Ma'am Moriel Iturralde from the Kingdom of Jesus Christ for her solidarity message before the open forum. And briefly din po also, si Bay Elizabeth Carion, Coordinator, International Facilitator para sa United Indigenous Filipino Heritage in the Philippines, UNIFIL. So, panghuli po, ang kapangyarihan ng pamahalaan at ng buong bayan manggagaling sa mulat na pagkakaisa ng mamamayan. Power resides in the people. The government is only incidental kung bakit may gobyerno dahil delegated ng tao ang kapangyarihan sa kanya. The government does not rule over the people. The government governs for the people and for the benefit of humanity at ng tao. Hindi nang iilang na sa kapangyarihan. Mahalin natin ang bansang Pilipinas. Walang magmamahal nito kundi tayo ring mga Pilipino. Mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino. Ito si Ka Eric. And we will call on the Kingdom of Jesus Christ first. Dito na lang si Ma'am Moriel. With your indulgence and support, dahil po nag-aantay na dyan ang swabe na tinulang manok. May tinula ba? Tinula pa rin ang inaanap. Pansit. Let's listen to the reflection and solidarity message of Sister Moriel Iturralde, representing Kingdom of Jesus Christ International Group. And then si Bay Elizabeth Carion. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Ang galing ng ating kapatid Ka Eric. Praise the Father. Okay. Good evening, everyone. As a representative of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, and led by our beloved Pastor Apollo Sigibuloy, we are gathered together here with you to bring attention to the targeted persecution that our organization and Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy himself have been subjected to, including the unprecedented persecution under the government of Bongbong Marcos Jr. We believe that it is crucial for the United Nations to intervene and conduct a thorough investigation into these grave allegations. The Kingdom of Jesus Christ is a religious organization that has dedicated itself to spreading the message of love, peace, and salvation. Our mission is to uplift and empower individuals through spiritual guidance and humanitarian efforts. However, we have been unjustly targeted and persecuted for our beliefs and practices. Under the government of Bongbong Marcos Jr., the persecution against our organization and Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy has escalated to unprecedented levels. We have faced baseless accusation, fabricated charges, and relentless harassments. Our fundamental rights to freedom of religion and belief have been violated, and our ability to carry out our humanitarian work has been hindered. Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, our esteemed leader, has been an advocate for social justice, peace, and equality throughout his life. He has consistently spoken out against oppression and has worked tirelessly to uplift and transform communities. However, his efforts have been met with targeted persecution and attempts to silence his voice. We firmly believe that these attacks against our organization and Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy are rooted in prejudice, discrimination, and a desire to suppress our message of faith and hope. The government of Bongbong Marcos has been instrumental in orchestrating and perpetuating this persecution, undermining the principles of democracy, human rights, and religious freedom. Therefore, we urgently request the intervention of the United Nations in this matter. We implore the international community to conduct an impartial investigation into the targeted persecution against the kingdom of Jesus Christ and Pastor Apollo Kibuloy himself, particularly under the government of Bongbong Marcos. We seek justice, accountability, and an end to the relentless attacks that threaten our organization's existence and Pastor Apollo's safety. We also call upon the government of the Philippines to fulfill its responsibility in protecting the rights of all individuals, regardless of their religious beliefs. We urge them to cooperate fully with the United Nations in the investigation and to take immediate action against those responsible for perpetuating these acts of persecutions. Furthermore, we appeal to the international community, human rights organizations, and civil society to stand in solidarity with us, condemning the unprecedented persecution by, by the government of Marcos Jr. Together, let us raise our voices and demand justice for the kingdom of Jesus Christ and Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. Let us work towards safeguarding religious freedom, democracy, and human rights, not only in the Philippines but also worldwide. In conclusion, we seek the support of the United Nations and the international community in our pursuit of truth, justice, and the preservation of religious freedom. Excuse me. We thank you for your attention and stand and unite in our fight against the targeted persecution and oppression faced by the kingdom of Jesus Christ and Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy. I thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Ariel. And now, for the final part before our open forum and fellowship with our kunting salo-salo, we will have Ma'am Elizabeth, by Elizabeth Carion, United Indigenous Filipinos Heritage in the Philippines.
Magandang gabi po sa lahat. Good morning, Pilipinas. Marami po sa atin ang nakikinig ngayon. Live po tayo sa pulso ng bayan kay Eric.
Thank you.
I'm happy that we're reunited. Kasi po, March tayo lahat last nagkita. Magkasama po kami doon sa Liwasang Bonifacio. Kami po yung magkasama kami with SMNI and some other personalities na nagplano po sa Liwasang Bonifacio. So after few months, ito na po kami. And I have known ka Eric year 2022.
Yeah.
He was during the investiture.
Yes.
Inadapt po siya sa ng tribo.
With Pastor and Ma'am.
With Pastor, by the way, hindi ko na-introduce sarili ko kay Eric. I'm by Elizabeth Carion from the Manobo tribe, Manobo tribe of Agusan. Manobo Lapacnon, based po talaga sa Butuan City. So, I'm coming from tribal leaders. Yung pong lolo ko is a tribal chieftain. Ngayon po yung supreme dato doon, uncle ko po. So, in short po, it was pastor who introduced to me back Kasi po, ang nangyari ay hindi po ako lumaki sa tribo. I was like, no, I grew up in the city. Kaming lahat, nung namatay yung lolo ko, wala kaming pakialam sa tribo kasi we grew up in the city. I have 8 cousins here in the US married to Americans. So, hindi na nila alam, even yung mga anak-anak nila na galing po kami sa tribo. So, when I came back to the Philippines, short lang po ito, why naging presidente pa ako ng UNIFIL, United Indigenous Peoples Heritage in the Philippines. Nung bumalik po ako sa Pilipinas, mga kababayan, meron pong problemang nangyari sa tribo and there was an accusation against pastor that he is a land grabber. He was a land grabber, pinatay niya po si, I think, ano yung balita na yun, pinatay niya daw po si Jarog, Dato Jarog. So when I came to the scene, I worked with the NCIP, the National Commission on Indigenous Peoples. It so happened na it was the time with administration of President Duterte. So, di po ba malakas ang NTF-ELCAC by that time? Okay, so yung ang ating commissioner ng NCIP was also the executive director of NTF-ELCAC. So, naayos po yun, nagawa natin ng solusyon. Kasi hindi ko na po isasaysay, alam po natin ang gawain ng kabila. No? So, may propaganda silang ginawa na ang nangyari, they painted pastor as a monster. So, galit yung Jarug clan na they said na kung hindi naayos yon from generation to generation to generation, ang paningin po nila kay pastor is land grabber, murderer, and abusive. So, in short, naayos natin. So, year 2022, nagkaroon po ng investiture kasi meron pong investigation na ginawa ang tribal leaders like the MIPSEL, that's the Mindanao Indigenous Peoples Council of Elders and Leaders. So, may investigation silang ginawa and they found out na ginamit lang po ang Jarug clan at saka both of them were victims. So, naayos po namin, in short, nagkaroon na investiture. So, Ka-Eric was there, I was there, and Ka-Eric ko is Dato Pamulinaw. Pastor, the name pastor as Dato Pamulingan.
Pamulingan si pastor.
So, before that investiture, that was 2022, April 29 pala, 2022, may panaginip na po si pastor. He was 72 years old and Psalms chapter 72. It so happened that 72 then was revealed to him and it talks about the ancestral domain and the people, the IPs who are being maltreated, you know. Alam natin yung discriminated, kinunan ng kanilang rights. So, ang nangyari after that investiture, right away, Pastor was thinking of how to organize an NGO whose advocacy is to protect, to safeguard the rights and interests of the indigenous peoples. So, I was there, like what I've said, I was disconnected to my clan. Kasi nga po, hindi naman na nahiya akong masama sa discrimination, but wala akong pakialam kasi nga I grew up in the city. You know what really moved me? Kaya gusto ko pong i-share sa inyo who Pastor is. In this, you know, sa side ng buhay na to ni Pastor. When he told the tribes during the investiture, when he said, "You are a beautiful people, and I'm proud to be one of you." Alam nyo, naiyak ako noon. Naiyak kaming lahat. And personally, parang it was a slap to my face kasi sabi ko, how come? I am a tribo in blood, but Pastor is a tribo in heart. So sabi ko, I have to do something. Parang wake up call sa akin. Ito nga, hindi tribo. Pero yung love niya sa tribo. So I started to immerse myself sa tribo. And then, another thing na sinabi ni Pastor, kasi po, before 2022, my assignment was international. So I'm traveling all over the world. So it was sponsored by the Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Kasi naging international administrator po ako. So when Pastor said in his program that Philippines is the most beautiful country in the world, I don't know kung sumusunod kayo kay Pastor, narinig nyo yan. I was listening, I said, okay. Kasi ba, I'm started to, to compare Switzerland, Norway, of course, the US, Canada, kasi Canadian po ako, parang Filipino-Canadian. Sabi ko, parang naging most beautiful country in the world. Parang, okay, hindi ko pwedeng sabihin kay Pastor, you're not right, pero at the same time, parang I'm not convinced. But then when I started to travel to the mountains, yung nagsimula na ako mag-immerse sa tribo, I came to realize Pastor was right. He's correct. Kasi nakita ko sa Pilipinas, meron palang parang Switzerland. Ang daming gagandang bundok. Hindi nga lang natin naayos. Hindi nga lang siya naasikaso kasi nga we have a corrupt government. Hindi, napabayaan po talaga ang tribo. So, nag-start ako, okay, my journey started there, okay? Kailangan kong makilala yung tribo, kailangan kong ma-involve sa tribo, hanggat mga kapatid, mga kababayan ko, I feel their pain, I feel their frustration, plus we're working together sa NTF-ELCAC, kumbaga na-involve ako sa NTF-ELCAC, and how many percentage na pasukan ng CBP-NPA?
Ay, before? 70% ng mga area ng
70%.
tribo NPA.
70% po.
70% ng
Could
tribo
you
na NPA.
imagine? Napasukan sila.
All over the country.
All over the country. Yung tinatawag niyong red area. Napasukan sila. So, I went to a tribe na sinabing Dibabawan, that's in Laak, Davao de Oro. My God, maiyak ka. Mga kapatid, maiyak ka. 14 years old, may 7 ng anak.
Yes.
And when we were, kasi, Pastor, when we start Unifil, 2 years pa lang po ang Unifil. As young as 2 years old. Pero ang bilis po. Kasi sabi ni Pastor, now that I am Dato Pangulingan and these tribal leaders are, giving me this trust, we need to do something. So we started, in fact, yung International Children's Day po, kasi we're doing it every year. Parang tradisyon na namin yan. Sabi ni Pastor, this year we need to focus on the indigenous children. So pumunta po, kasama na yung mga magulang. Pagpunta namin sa Laak, could you imagine, they have to walk 6 hours, makakuha lang po ng drinking water. So pag-uwi ng bata, gabi na. So, anytime along the way, maraming mangyayari. So, ginawa po ni Pastor, bumili ng napakamaraming tubo. Yung tubig from the spring, pinaabot doon sa community. So, nagkaroon po kami ng turnover ng potable water. At the same time, pinagawan sila ni Pastor ng tribal hall. At the same time, nagkaroon po ng basketball court. Yung pala, grabe ang CTG in that area.
Red area yun.
Red area yun.
NPA.
Red NPA talaga sila. Sabi na, yung taddaran ng mga tao doon, parang wala lang.
Doon pinapatay.
Yes, I saw Dato Pindoy. Sabi nila, warrior na yun. Sabi niya, ang dami na daw niyang pinatay NPA. Marami na rin napatay sa kanila. So, ang narinig ko sa kanila, there were around 50 datos who were there. Alam niyo, ang sabi nila, this place was in total darkness before. Madilim dito. Ngit-ngit ning dapita, sila sa Bisaya. Pero nung dumating po si Pastor, biglang nagliwanag. So, solar and spiritual. It's like literal and spiritual that happened. So, ang nangyari po, yung mga tribo na yon, binigyan po natin ng livelihood. Kayo yung mga ancestral domain nila na pabayaan kasi wala naman silang resources, ginawan po natin ng farm, sila po ang nagtatrabaho, binigyan po sila ng kapital at tinutulungan po natin sila. So, in short, yung pong ginawa namin sa Unifil, that's just lately, dito po ako mag-focus. Kasi ito pong nangyari na raid sa kingdom, that was June 10, di ba simultaneous po? So, if narinig niyo pong meron pong namatay na tribo, dalawang namatay, this is really injustice. Kasi po, that community is not part of kingdom compound. Hindi sila parte ng kingdom compound. Kabilang bundok po yun. Malayo pa po yun. So, dinid nila yung kingdom compound. Kung ang gusto nila hanapin si pastor, bakit pupuntahan ang tribo? Paano naman itago si pastor doon? One room house lang sila. Pagpasok mo, kita na lahat. And besides, hindi pwedeng gawin yun ni pastor kasi pinoprotektahan nga niya ang tribo. Bakit niya idadawit? Di ba? Hindi po kayang gawin ni Pastor yun. Kasi po, yung Blaan, Blaan, this is a Blaan community. I was able to talk to the local government. In fact, nung nagbigay po kami ng health center doon, it was sponsored by Unifil. Ang principal sponsor natin is Pastor. Kasi nga, yun yung advocacy ni Pastor. So, ang request nila was health center. Kasi po, may nanganak na ng 10, hindi man lang nakakita o hindi man lang nakitikim ng, anong tawag yan, yung check-up. Ang layo kasi. Wala pong masakyan doon, kabayo ang sasakyan. Pero nung dumating po doon si Pastor, pinagawa niya ng road. Pinagawa ng ilaw at tubig. Kasi nga, yun yung advocacy niya. Kasi nga, di ba biblical din yun, love your neighbor as yourself? Sino yung neighbor mo? Those who are in need. Sila yung marginalized sector, walang kakayahan, napabayaan, di ba? So, ang nangyari, nandoon kami, nag-turn over kami, sabi ng mayor, sabi ko sa mayor, bakit ang dami mong backup, mayora? Bakit 6 na 6 by? Ang daming mga pulis. Kasi ano niyo po, ang sabi kasi ng papa niya, who's a former mayor, if I'm not mistaken, wala nang kitbog. Meron dad, sabi daw, wala na, matagal na yung wala sa mapa. Meron dad, binuhay po ni Pastor Kibuloy. Kasi that was the request of the tribe, na sana meron kami ulit na community. So, I am a living witness to that. So, ang binigay namin yun, ito yung tribo na sinasabi ko po. Ang ngayon na naman, ang nangyari is, marami na kaming project, binigyan na naman sila ng livelihood eh. No? Marinig nyo yung mga testimonies nila, sabi nila, bakit ginaganon si Pastor? He brought peace to our community. In fact, wala nang mga lasinggero dito, kasi mataas yung respeto nila kay Pastor. Wala nang awayan dito, kasi doon po, ang batas, wala pong batas sa Pilipinas na na-apply doon. Ganito po yun, pag may asawa ka na maganda, itago mo na. Kasi pag nagtripan ng isa pang katribo, pag nakuha yan, hindi mo nakuha ng after 3 days.
Papatayin ka niya.
Sa kanya na yun. Kahit makita mo pa araw-araw. Kasi yung 3...
Yun ang kultura nila.
Kasi patayan ang mangyayari. Kung wala kang pambayad, wala na. Hindi na sa kanya. Sa'yo yung patayan na. Kaya yung tribo na yan, tinatawag bandido.
Malayo yan.
Malayo yan, hindi mo yan, wala silang batas na nagkinikilala. Batas lang nila, yung tribal na customs nila, at saka yung balaod, batas nila. Now, nung pumunta doon ng SAF, pinasok nila,
Yung mga bahay.
madaling araw, pagod yun eh, galing yun ng farming eh. Tapos, kumbaga, for how many years, ganun na yung community nila. Peaceful na sila, kaya ang nangyari, natatarantas na trauma. May traumang nangyari. In fact, kung marinig yung mga testimonies nila from SMNI, meron talagang testimony. Meron pang nagsabi na, masakit ang ulo ng ano ko, hindi pwedeng makalabas. Hindi, labas kayong lahat. It was kinaladkad. Yeah. Kinaladkad. Ngayon, namatay yung dalawa kasi po, trauma. Affected sila. Nagkasakit. Actually po, yung isa dadala pa namin sa hospital, pero namatay din. Hindi pa nasali dyan yung 2 bata na wala na sa isip.
Nag-panic attack.
Wala sa isip. Kasi po, yun yan, nervous breakdown ka, Eric.
PTSD.
Dinala sa clinic. Lahat ng makita niyang lumilipad sa taas, binabatunan niya kasi sabi niya drone.
May mga lumilipad.
Oo, may mga lumilipad, sabi niya mga military, mga drone na yon. So, sa Blaan lang yon, hindi pa po kasali yung Bagubuklata.
Tamayong.
Oo, sa Tamayong, na talagang some of them were injured. Tapos, anong tawag mo?
Baklit.
Dahil may dala silang itak, going kasi yun sa farm.
Inaristo sila.
Talagang may itak kasi going ka sa farm, inaristo din sila. So, hinangcuff din sila. So, this is too much. This is too much. Kasi po, Unifil, through the initiative of Pastor Asdato Pamulingan, yung po ang advocacy namin to help this community. Dapat nga gobyerno, di ba? Dapat nga gobyerno, pero dahil alam natin na kung anong maitutulong natin, gagawin natin. Kasi nga, kababayan natin. Tapos, could you imagine this government that we think na sana katuwang natin, kumbaga dapat nga grateful sila, thankful, kasi merong NGO na tumutulong sa government, di ba? Pero ganitong ginawa nila, walang silang sinabi. Wala man lang kahit konti na lang apology.
sorry.
Not even a sorry. Kahit sana iba na lang mag-apologize, no? Kahit LGU na lang, wala pa rin po. So meaning, hindi po binigyan hindi lang po siya, anong tawag na, importance, kahalagahan, yung pong tribo natin. Ang community ng tribo natin sa buong Pilipinas, malaki po. There are around 20 million.
Yeah, tribal communities.
Tribal communities. UNIFIL is here, tinayo po siya ni Pastor. Ang aming motto or slogan, ang vision namin is to unite the tribes. Kasi we have 110 major tribes. Wala pa kasaling minor. May kanya-kanyang kultura, may kanya-kanyang paniniwala. So, of course, merong banggaan, di ba? Merong awayan, lalo na sa ancestral domain. Ang ginawa po ni Pastor, ito po yung advocacy ni Pastor together with we have the MOU with the NCIP and MIPSEL and also MIPU na mag-unite ang tribo that we might be one as we are one. Yun po ang advocacy ng UNIFIL. Ngayon, hindi po kami pwedeng hindi magsasalita. Kasi kung hindi po tayo kikilos, mas grabe pa ang abuse na gagawin nila. Di po ba? Oh. So connected po to siya sa kingdom kasi po ang nangyari, yan pong in-inculcate ni Pastor sa utak namin. Kailangan we should be the peacemaker, not the troublemaker. We should help those who are in need. In fact, supreme law sa kingdom, as being instilled ni Pastor sa utak namin is LOVE, love. Yan ang supreme law sa kingdom. And we have also this mandate, strive to rhyme for unity. Kahit anong mangyari, we should be united. Kasi di ba, united we stand, divided we fall. So kaya ganun po ka-strong ang kingdom. Kasi sabi ni Pastor sa amin, kahit hindi niyo na ako makita, but the word of God is already in your heart. Just follow what I teach you. Kaya kung makita niyo po ngayon, nagtataka na yung mga vlogger, ang dami nung dinaanan ng kingdom ng mga persecution, pero bakit masaya pa rin sila? Bakit matibay pa rin sila? Kasi po, yung word of God nakatanim na po dito. Ito po yung legacy ni Pastor sa amin. Stand strong for what is right. Fight for what is right. Do not allow injustices. Grabe po si Pastor pagdating sa hustisya. Ang sabi ni Pastor sa akin, the last time we talked, before po siya nawala, kasi po, pumunta ako dito, that was March, bago po siya nawala, sabi niya, tinanong ko po si Pastor ng ganito, Pastor, what if? What if? Kasi tatanong ko lang po, para prepared po kami, what if kung makuha po talaga kayo ng Amerika or makuha kayo ng Pilipinas? Sabi ni Pastor, I'm prepared for anything. Kasi this life is not mine. I have dedicated this life a long time ago. Kaya nga hindi ako nag-asawa dahil ang asawa ko, yung mission ko na yung ministry ko. Sabi ni Pastor, pero, sabi niya, isang bagay ang hindi ko papayagan. Ito po, first hand na kausap ko si Pastor, isang bagay ang hindi ko papayagan. Yung makikita kong ang kasamaan nanalo against sa kabutihan cannot be. Sabi niya, lalaban tayo kahit anong mangyari. Kailangan ang kabutihan ang mamamayagpag, hindi ang kasamaan. Di ba ganun din ang dala ni Tatay Digong?